All right.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Vicky Soma. This is Tiga 3D. And as always, I have my co-host, Lawrence, here.
Hello, Vicky. I'm Lawrence Nightingale. This is How Would You Slice That? A show about 3D printing and how to work on your 3D printing craft in such a way to make your prints more reliable, better, stronger, and more attractive.
Yes.
So
right.
Vicky and I are here together, and she's got a guest for us.
Yeah, and we would just want to maximize the time with the guest, so let's just roll right into it. And so if 3D printing was like a high school, I think me and tonight's guest would be in the same graduating class. This is kind of assuming in this analogy that we can graduate from 3D printing when it's really a continuous learning process. But I really feel like we came of age at around the same time where we were learning our machines, we were learning our slicer. We both started YouTube stations at the same time. And way back in the day, Joel Telling, the 3D printing nerd, he did a contest. And in order to enter the contest, you had to subscribe to 2 YouTube channels. And one was hers and one was mine. And even though we are on different continents, and I think we're very different people, sometimes I was mistaken for her, which is actually quite flattering. When she had her first son, a couple of times someone came up to me and asked me how the new baby was doing. And you know what I'd say? I'd just say, oh, fine. But it's very flattering to be mistaken for her. She's proficient in electronics. She's such a great experimenter. And she has these great fun and whimsical designs. And if you've done any shopping at printedsolid.com, you've seen her handiwork. The little Jessie doggy, that's one of her models. So tonight we're very happy to welcome Tessa, Sparky Face 5, to the show.
Hello. Oh man, yes. I used to get people asking me about you as well. So like,
really?
It was on both sides. Yeah, it was really fun.
Oh, that's neat. Well, we're like tied together in our 3D printing journey.
Absolutely. Hey, Lawrence, how you going?
Doing great. Yeah. So you go ahead, Vicky. You had some.
Well, I guess what I want to start off with, something that's more time sensitive, which is you are helping with the 3D printed Bilby Easter project. Did you want to roll into that?
Yes. So the 3D printed Bilby project. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Can I could put this up on the screen, yeah?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, got
it. Don't let me do that.
You want me to hide it temporarily?
All right, I think we got it going on now. All right, so the 3D printing Easter Bilby project. If I could get my words to work today, would be really good. So Britt on Twitter, she's gotten in contact with the Save the Bilby Fund, and so it's this big thing, right, to raise awareness for the Australian bilby, which is a small marsupial in Australia that's endangered, at risk of becoming endangered. Anyway, they're cute and we're replacing them. There's no Easter bunny this year. We're doing Easter bilbies. And so I started off by making this trouble piece. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me. And this trouble piece to go into the board game of a bilby. And here's my son. He's just ecstatic to see these pieces. But lots of designers are joining in. We've got people making pen toppers, coasters, characters, statues. And I would really love it if more people joined in and would share these things around. Jump into Tinkercad, make a square bilby, go back and make a bilby out of a cube, do something. And I want to sort of share it around and just raise awareness, right? Everything here is for free. None of us are charging any money for these models. It's all just for fun and for Easter.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Yes. So original designs of bilbies to raise awareness for the fact that this animal is going to soon be, or is becoming extinct. It's an Australian marsupial, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's an Australian marsupial, and there used to be several different kinds of them, but now there's only one. It's just the greater bilby that's left. All the smaller ones have disappeared.
Oh
Now, did you say that usually you do Easter bunnies? This is the first year we're doing Easter bilbies.
Well, I didn't know that the Easter bilby was a thing, but the Easter Bilby Fund, the Save the Bilby Fund, they do like chocolate bilbies every year here. So you can get a chocolate bilby, which is really kind of cool. And when Britt has some friends in this area, and she was talking to them about increasing the range of our influence into the maker community, which is, I think, is just so much fun, right? You can sort of get behind that.
If you get a cocoa press, anybody can do a chocolate bilby, huh?
I think this would be perfect for the cocoa press because it prints without supports.
Oh.
And you could play with it and then eat it. Like, that sounds good to me.
It's a perfect game. It's a perfect game. Yes.
It might. I don't know what the melting temperature is, but it might like leave a little souvenirs on your game board. But I guess that's what tongues are for.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe we need a food-friendly play set.
Wow. And Tessa, now this is it's impossible that this is not the first time that you used design and 3D printing for fundraising or supporting a cause.
Oh, sorry.
Is that on your side?
Yeah, the cat's yelling at me. For a cause, let me think about that.
Or for fundraising at all, or?
I don't think I've done anything specifically for fundraising before.
Oh, okay.
I do join in a lot of community projects though.
Oh, okay.
I put you in solo layout so we can see your kitty.
Maddie. Hi.
So this Bilby project is really kind of a groundbreaking thing for you then. You know, supporting a cause and helping to raise awareness, that kind of thing, through design.
Yeah, absolutely. And but I do enjoy getting more people involved in these sort of things. So way back in, I think, 2016, when I was almost a new mum, and like very much almost a new mum, right? and I started this thing. It was called 3D Block Zoo, and the idea was to go into Tinkercad and grab that default cube and add various bits and pieces to it to make an animal, to get just anybody to get anybody into designing and to have fun and to see if you enjoy it. And the level of entry was so easy that so many people came in, and the creativity we saw was just amazing.
Whoa! Look at that.
Yeah, look at this. Yep. We had stingrays. Someone sent me a grasshopper with legs that actually pivoted, and it was their first ever design, and I was so impressed. And peacocks and all sorts of animals. It was amazing. I see some familiar faces in the chat. Hi, Leonard, Ryan, Holt, Jeff's Prince.
Oh, good.
3D Medic, hello.
Wonderful.
It's morning here, so I need my coffee. So excuse me.
I was trying to find my block zoo. I did a tardigrade with you know those little do loops where you kind of come off and come back, and it makes a little droop. But I'm not sure where I would have uploaded because that's been so long. But it scored me real tardigrades because someone saw my block zoo animal and said, "Oh, she likes tardigrades," and sent me real ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, block zoo's good for a lot of things.
Yeah, I would say so. Absolutely. And so you started out with with simple designs, simple projects to kind of get people involved, and of course people jumped in, and maybe some of them stayed with 3D printing, some of them didn't. But is that how you started with your own design practice?
Yeah, kind of. So I started interested in the technology. I had been interested in 3D printing for a while at that time, but it was too expensive for a hobby that I didn't know if I was going to get into. And at the time, you had to source all your own components and try to put it together from a wiki. And it was, you know, it was $1,400 just for the electronics, and then trying to work out what the hardware was with different conversions. It was a little bit beyond me for that time. Right. And then China came out. China came out with these kits, and it was 450 Australian dollars. You can get a full printer that works fully assembled now for way less than that. Right. But at the time, that was the cheapest you could get. So I got this acrylic framed kit. You know, had all the little M3 screws and had to put it all together and put all the wires in. And I built it up. And I thought to myself, I'm so excited. I'll start a YouTube channel and just share it with other people.
Oh, I see.
So that's how I started. And I was printing. First thing I printed was a piece of the printer that I had broken during construction.
Yes.
And I had no idea what I was doing. I was printing at 0.01 layer height. I had no supports. It worked anyway through some pure magic, and we kept going. And from there, I was printing other people's models, and I was shouting out artists, and I was so impressed with what other people were doing. And then I started getting into CAD and doing some practical stuff around the house, like things with hinges. Like I just thought that was amazing, the print in place.
Yes.
And from there, I thought, okay, well, I want to learn more of the artistic side, but my budget was very low, and so I got into the Tinkercad with BlockZoo. But then some other stuff happened too, and I came into a windfall, and I managed to get some sculpting accessories and some stuff like that. So I got into sculpting a bit more full time after that, and but yeah, no, it started just with a tech fascination and grew from there.
Wow, you know, it's funny. Many of the women that I work with around 3D printing and digital fabrication, the design part is really what brings out like the passion for them, and really brings out like the fuel to continue to move forward. Whereas most of the men that I've worked with, it's, you know, how big can we make it? How fast can we make it? You know, all those things like that, which is also, you know, very, very, very tech heavy, and also contributes greatly as well. So, wow, well, good for you. Good for you.
It's also a very addictive hobby when you get into the tech side, because you start out with one, and then you're like, well, that one's busy. I need two. Next thing you know, you got five.
Right.
And you don't use most of them, but you're still looking at the new ones. You're like, do I need that? I think I need that. BL Touch? What the heck is this, right?
Yeah. Revolutionary at the time.
It was.
My Maker Gear, my 9-year-old Maker Gear recently, like the Z extruder died, and I think at this point I should just let it go in peace and everything. But now I'm wondering, you know, maybe there's a punk rock museum that recently opened in Las Vegas, and maybe one day there'll be a 3D printing museum. Maybe my baby can go into the print museum.
I still have my CR10, and that's the last functional printer that I used. And before getting my Bamboo this year. And in the shed, I still have a Trinus, if you remember that one. It was the linear rails. It was very small and very loud, but so it was spot on. It was spot on.
Oh boy. Well, yeah. You know, you talk about having 4 or 5 printers. I'm probably good for 8 to 10 right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and I only use one in my own personal practice. So
it got to the point where my husband would tell me, you need to get rid of one before you can get another one. Okay.
No, that's just, I mean, how can you get rid of a 3D printer truthfully? Like, I think that the pain point is that you paid so much for it and also by the time it's ready to sell, you want the value for it, but the value's not coming.
The value's not there. No,
it's not going to.
I struggle with so I could get people into the hobby. I could give it to somebody, But
Yeah.
then if it's not going to work, then I'm the technician who has to fault find and have that work for them. And that's just an added layer that sometimes I don't mind doing, but I don't want to really be doing that too much, especially if you're too far away from me. So if you live next door, no problem. If you live 3 hours away,
different story.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And so I'll have to ask one more question. You started off with block CAD, then I noticed, I looked at some of your models, and it seems like at a certain point in time your models were designed to be printed in 4 or 5 parts and either painted or printed in different colors and then assembled.
Yes.
And now you just mentioned bamboo. So what's the most interesting way in which your design approach has changed as you've kind of gone through those iterations, right? I got to print separate STLs. Now I can actually do multicolor, and I can.
While she's talking, I'm going to run an old video. I think it's from 2017, where Tessa was experimenting. She did a series of 3 videos on making colored prints, right?
Nice.
So
yeah, you got to see this. It's really good.
Yeah, what you see today with the bamboo mini, or where they're purging and switching the colors and everything like that. Our Tessa was doing this manually.
I had adjusted the G code as well to get it to pause at the right times. And
oh my gosh! So you weren't just designing; you were also programming.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this is old Simplify 3D, and you can go ahead and I don't know if you want to.
Oh yeah, I remember Simplify 3D.
Yeah, so maybe she set up.
I had like 3 different ways to do it, right? Yeah.
Like, hey, every she didn't do it every 0.2 of a millimeter. That's crazy. She only stopped at every 0.8 millimeters.
Yeah, I did 2 layers at a time because I had worked out that I can do an additional layer and the nozzle wouldn't run into it at that point. If I did 3 layers, then we had clashing because of the angle of the nozzle. And I actually think this is something that maybe bamboo and stuff could think about, because instead of changing the color every single layer, if you're clever with your travel instructions and your Z-hop, you could do it every 2 and you could save half the amount of purge.
Wow. I see what you're saying. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That'd be 50% more efficient because. Yeah.
Look how fast I changed this filament. My goodness.
Oh wow! Don't burn your fingers. Oh my gosh!
That's me pressurizing the nozzle manually because we didn't have no purge towers.
Wow! Look at that.
There we go. How cool was that?
Yeah.
That was. Yeah, we only had one nozzle to play with back then as well. Like people were starting to mess around with the Y splitters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which never worked. Not for me anyhow.
I never got to try, but yeah, this was fun.
Oh my goodness.
I love the robot there.
We'll have to.
This isn't the extent of what she was doing, because you're very good at painting your models.
Yes.
She would do separate pieces. I think she also did, what I mostly use a lot is the layer swaps and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that was the idea that triggered it all, because we used to do like a base layer, and then the next one up would be a different color, and you could sort of like paint a picture. Like HueForge, we were doing HueForge manually back then through like Fusion 360.
Oh, your Patreon!
Look at me! Oh man, yeah. Gosh, blast from the past there, isn't that cool?
Now, is it possible that that's PETG?
No, that was all PLA.
That was a transparent PLA you were working with on Orange.
Yeah, and it was. Don't ask me what brand it was, because here in Australia it was so difficult to get anything affordable that the really good stuff I got from Filamentum, but I had to buy like 5 rolls at a time to make postage the same amount as the filament, basically.
Oh my god!
So it was a lot, and then the rest I used to just get from eBay. So it'd be some no-name Chinese factory, and sometimes it was good and sometimes it wasn't.
Right.
But yeah,
No, I can imagine.
things have changed now. I've got a eSun supplier now.
Oh, okay.
Who's local to me, so they're the filament I'm using currently.
Wonderful, wonderful.
It's nice to have a brand name, right?
That's something that people recognize. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to get more filamentum, but it's still unaffordable. But they do make really, really nice filament, like 100%. If it's something that's affordable in your area, filamentum, 100%, I will recommend it every time.
All right. I haven't used them in a while. One of the most impressive filaments that I've ever used cellulose instead of using cornstarch. It was cellulose based.
Oh, okay.
And it came from Sweden. And it came out in a nice matte color. You couldn't see the lines or anything like that. And it was all 100% recycled. Now it was also like $75 a roll, but 75 American a roll. But considering the performance, it's kind of falls in the same kind of category for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I really enjoy the matte filaments, but also the ones with little bits of glitter in them.
Oh, yes. I'm really into the protopasta.
Yeah.
Oh, I love, my latest infatuation is the quantum. From Matter Stacker. It's just 2 colors.
Okay.
And actually, I think Britt is on the chat, and I have her to thank for finally diving into it, because I was just saving this blue green quantum, and she had tweeted in November like, "Hey, whoever needs to hear this, that special roll of filament, it wants to be used, use it." And so I used it for, if anybody saw last time's episode, we have how you would slice it rings done by Steve.
Yes.
So I did that. Yeah. And then this week I printed Tessa's little dragon using the little quantum as well. I'll try to throw some pictures later if it comes
We were talking about the Easter Bilby earlier. That's Britt's, whichever side that is. That's Britt's baby. So go talk to Britt.
Okay.
wherever chats are found.
So I kind of hijacked Lawrence's question where he wanted to hear about your progression with colors, and that was my intent.
Thank you for coming back to it.
Running in the background.
Right. Okay. So I started off with FDM printing, and at the time when I was learning and growing from there, most of my design choices were about trying to avoid supports. And I would try to make a single print with no supports, because personally, I didn't like them. And the technology around the supports generation wasn't really great. It's a lot better now. With the tree supports or organic, whatever they're called in the slices that you use, they're a lot better than they used to be. However, I still do like the most, if you can get a support-free print, it's so much more clean, right? It's really nice. And then at some point, I stopped doing FDM and I had a little break. And when I came back, I got myself a resin printer, and all the rules went out the window.
Wow.
Suddenly I could do anything I wanted. Supports didn't matter because supports were inevitable. Like you always have a support on the resin printers. Later, I discovered that you can actually print straight on the build plate and have a support-free resin print as well, which is really, really good and fun. Not everybody seems to be able to do it though, so it's not as reliable as saying FDM support-free. But it is an interesting design element to sort of fit in there.
Oh, is that why you say minimal supports on your designs? Okay, got it.
Yeah. So one day I'll show you a picture of something that I support in Lightchain. You'll see just how minimal supports I can go. Like sometimes it's nothing and it's literally on the build plate, and then other times I've got like a little bit here, one there, and a large one to hold it down. Like it's but you have to be prepared to fail. So because you over support to always win, and you under support for the cleanest result, so you don't have to do post-processing, and you go find that sort of middle ground. And now just this year, or December last year, but still it's only really been a few months, I got a bamboo, and so I'm back into FDM. And
Which version of the bamboo did you get?
the Carbon X one.
Okay.
And with the AMS. And so now I can do multi-colors. But I still like the idea, because when I played with the multiple colors, it takes a long time to print.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's why her dragon is a lot bigger.
That's why it's like 50% size. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
That I did is
I love that school
smaller.
bus. Does it have a stop sign that can pull out?
No, it doesn't pull out. It's just second ever 3D model.
That's
And
so
I
cool.
think, you know, I guess it's hijacking again. This is why Vicky needs the color changing technology. This is from, I think, 2017 or 2018, where I tried to paint a school bus. Oh, here, maybe I zoom in or make it in.
Yeah, no, we can see it.
Yeah, I'm not the painter that you are, Tessa. And, and then this is 2023, like the Bamboo Mini, the first color that I tried, and actually it was the day before the last day of school before winter break, and I was able to print these buses and get them done for the school bus drivers as a little gift before we go.
Wow,
that's great. I could imagine this as a whistle as well.
Oh, is that a?
That's why you talk to designers.
Should I put you on full? Is that a transition to your water whistle?
Oh yeah, well I got a water whistle. Also, here it is. So I won't play it because it's got no water in it. It's just be a high pitch annoyance. And the other noisy thing I've made is this quacker.
Did you make the quacker with resin?
No, it's FDM. It's PLA, and it's got parts here. So it's got a really thin piece for the reed, and then this block goes on top. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing, and then that all locks it in place, and
wow,
off you go.
Well, I'll say, and you designed that from beginning to end.
Yeah, I did some research on how they work, and then I was trying to figure out if it could be 3D printed. And fortunately, yes, because they're a world of fun.
Yes, yeah, I can imagine giving that to an entire 5th grade class. You know, just as school's ending.
Funny you should say that, because one of the people who printed it gave it to his daughter in middle school, and she, you know, it sort of walked around the school a bit, and it was quacking all over the place. Apparently, it was just one in the school. A school-wide notification went out to all the parents. No duck quackers allowed at school. And apparently to this day, you know, like a month or more later, they're still hearing the odd quack down the hallway. So I think that's great. The great quackening, you know.
Right.
And then last East Coast Rip Rap Festival, Shane from Prusa, or we also may know him from 1440 Makers, he printed out a whole bunch of whistles to give out to any unintended children. So maybe we'll do quackers next year. Tessa, we have a moment. Our 3D Printy has a question, or just an idea maybe, that we do the interior of the whistle, and then anybody can do their little Boolean shape to make their own custom whistles.
Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? So just release it as a tool, as a cutter. I think that's totally possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially in the Prusa Slicer, which this particular viewer has shown a lot of expertise in, and you can use the modifiers on it.
In fact, with a little bit of planning, someone who knows parametric modeling, which I don't, could possibly come up with a tool that can customize the shape so that you can make it fit more different sizes of models.
As you were showing that quacker, my daughter just started playing the saxophone a couple days ago, and I was like, you know, 3D printed reeds. I wonder just how bad that would sound, and if I could tell the difference at her stage.
Yeah, that's how bad they sound, right there.
That's that, but every day she gets better. Not hating on my daughter for working on that. But yeah, though, I mean, as you were doing that, that is exactly what I thought. It was like, wow, there's a way that you can kind of democratize reeded instruments or mouthpieces, because reeds are an expense that not everybody can go through. I digress. Yeah, but
I wonder what other materials you could make reeds from. So not just 3D printing, but I mean, there must be some thin plastics and things that you could probably cut into shape, right?
Yeah. You could probably use like a jig or something like that to do it. So, yeah. So and so you went from resin and working on minimalistic support. Now you're doing FDM with a Bamboo X1. This bamboo thing is probably a lot more powerful than any of us are going to know for a little while now, because
it's amazing.
The three of us on here have one.
So I took a break from FDM. So for me, the transition was just
night and day,
mind blowing. So I went from the CR10, which finally just broke down. It's unreliable now, but for the longest time it was my workhorse, and it's manual bed leveling. It's a glass bed. There's no spaghetti detection. There's no cameras. There's no filament sensor. There's nothing. It's just motors.
It was a printer. Yeah.
It was a printer.
It's 8-bit technology, essentially. If you really.
That's right, and I would be printing between 40 and 60 millimeters per whatever the measurement is, minute. I don't know.
Per second.
Yeah, that's it. And then I get the bamboo, and it's printing at 100 millimeters per second, 200 millimeters per second, and the quality is as good, if not better, than the slower prints on the CR10. I keep wanting to call it Cryo because that was its nickname here at home. And sorry.
Just as a little testament to how fast the Bamboo Mini is, I had it out on my dining room table and I was printing something, and my oldest son's saying he's been with this 3D printing journey the whole time. And I point out, and I'm like, there's a camera so we can do a time lapse. And he said, it already looks like it's doing a time lapse. Like, it's so fast.
My 5-year-old said the same thing. And he's like, it's like a sped up video, only real life, Mum. He loves to sit there and just watch it. It's great.
Yeah, wow. I do. There is a little bit of a danger factor to it. I'm in my late 40s and my eyes are not as good anymore. And so, sometimes I'm leaning in to look at things, and one day that bed is going to knock me in the face. I need to, it's so fast.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's time to upgrade to the X1 or the
yeah. Or maybe get better glasses or something.
Yeah, there you go.
So has the transition back to FDM and now the adventure in multicolor changed the way I design and sculpt? Not so much it's hard to say, because you sort of keep some rules in mind when I'm sculpting. I keep some ideas in mind to make it 3D printable, as opposed to like a game ready model or something like that. But most of the decisions in regards to whether it's an FDM, multicolor, or pieces, or a resin print as a single or in pieces, those sort of decisions I sort of make towards the end of the process. And in fact, for resin multi-piece and FDM multi-piece, it's pretty much the same process. It's just making sure that the tolerance is large enough for an FDM to fit nice, because resin doesn't need as much tolerance, as much slop in the holes. But you can make it so that it does work for both. And I think that's really fun. And a lot of people don't realize that what you can get away with in FDM, like the amount of detail you can get in FDM, and that these models that are shown as being printed in resin, as long as they're not like this big, like you can print them in FDM and you'll get a decent result.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh wow, wonderful. And And so what you were talking about your design. Now, I apologize if I didn't pick up on it. What design suite do you use?
Yeah, I use ZBrush
Okay.
to do the sculpting. So I started off with what was it called? 123 Design, 123D
Okay.
Design,
Uh-huh.
which merged into Autodesk, I think, at some point. It used to exist, and I don't think it does anymore. And that was like a CAD program. And then I went to Tinkercad briefly. Sculptress, which was a free program. It was like a web-based thing at the time, and you could just like squidge around a piece of clay.
Sculptress is still around. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Mesh Mixer. So I did all the free stuff.
Right.
And then eventually I landed on ZBrush. I got the hat. This is the old logo. They got a new one now.
Oh, I see.
And once I went to ZBrush, I couldn't look back. I was just enthralled by the possibilities. It's one of these programs where there's like 7, 8, 9, 10 ways to do everything, and so you have this creative control that's you can really do it your way, which I really love.
Oh, okay. And so you tell me if I'm asking too many questions, Vicky. But
No.
But so you seem to by being able to use ZBrush, it sounds like what you're really talking about is being able to express yourself as an artist and a designer in a specific way. You almost like you've got a style. Like, do you feel like now, if you look at your things now, like maybe a year or two ago versus when you first started, do you see your style being established and maybe even very unique to the point where you can pick people, general public can pick them out?
Yeah, I think so. I've had a few occasions where I've been starting a project, and if I'm sharing my screen at the time, I'm in a few Discords, so I like to hang out with people, and someone will say, "It looks very, very much Tessa." There's the Tessa sculpt going on right there.
Wow.
I was like, it's hard for me to see it because it's just what I do, but I have had the feedback that I do have a style that's recognizable, so that's really nice.
Wow. Yeah. And so now, and the big question that really kind of grows into is, do you consider yourself more of a digital artist, or do you consider yourself a 3D printing person? Right? Like, there's a slight difference. A digital artist is somebody that is maybe more universal to the world of art and creativity. 3D printing enthusiasts, we all love ourselves, and we're going to keep doing it, but.
Yeah, honestly, I made the transition. So I definitely started out identifying as a 3D printing enthusiast. So I was printing upgrades. I was doing all the stuff to get really into the tech. But now, absolutely, I'm a 3D artist. I'm a designer. I bring ideas to life, and the 3D printing is one of the tools that I can use to share that with other people.
That's great. That is wonderful. Go ahead, Vicky.
All right, jumping back to, you're talking about designs that are very much Tessa, and I wouldn't be surprised, for me personally, if one of your calling cards is just cheese, because I've noticed when you did the turtles, that was like what impressed me the most is this cheese. And then she just recently did this lasagna, and like, again, the cheese just looks,
I need more cheese.
Modeling cheese.
I do. Yes, more cheese.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. I'm very cheesy.
Yes. She's also very good at the puns.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah, I do like the way that you capture the motion of cheese and all your other models. And actually the design and the style question really speaks towards, it actually takes care of a question that I had earlier, because I noticed that your designs seem to kind of follow like a Western animation type of framework.
Yeah.
But it's obvious to me now that you would never do anything anime style or anything like, tabletop modeling. That's not your style. That's not what you engage in. And that's sort of the thing, isn't it? So that's what I grew up with, and that's what I enjoy. So that's sort of where I naturally lean to.
And I'm going to dance now.
Excel. No, the word is excel. You excel at it. You excel at it. It's not lean to. It's a skill, just like we've been talking about. It's wonderful. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
And I'll throw a little banner there. So, Tessa, before, we definitely want to learn about your process with slicing your models. But before that, did you want to take a moment and talk about ArtZaps?
ArtZaps. All right, guys. I'm trying to get this thing off the ground. And what I want it to do is boost up artists and makers and 3D printing people and bring us all together. And at first, what I wanted to do was sort of try and figure out a way to collect money and give to an artist each month. We can help people more than we can separately. So if one person gives $10 to Vicky, right? Yep. One person gives $10 to Lawrence, and that's $10. It's going to take a whole year before you reach $120 worth of support. But if 15 people give $10, it's $150 in 1 month we can give to somebody. But I've been trying to get that to lift off the ground so that we can sort of support new artists and give more awareness to some people who are doing good in the community. I'm not sure how well that's working. So I thought maybe we can add some value to this by creating a newsletter or a magazine, and maybe having that as a subscription to uplift the people in the community who are doing certain things. So if you know somebody who's, yes, Make a Brick, exactly, would be great to have an article on Make a Brick and all of that sort of those things. The Save the Bilby stuff that's going on, I think would be a great article. But the thing is, I need help because I am not a publisher. I don't know how to do it. And I can't be everywhere all at once. So if you guys know somebody or want to write something about what you're doing or what somebody else is doing in the community, so we can share that with everybody and bring more people together. So more designers to people who 3D print, we can introduce each other, right? 3D printing is the tool that brings us together, and the practical and the joyous projects that we're all doing can build the community. Does that make sense? I think I just babbled.
No. It makes a lot of sense because me personally, like Vicky has been gracious enough to expose me to these community projects. The collective prints and the Maker Brick and a lot of different projects that I was not aware of. And so, this is definitely something. I mean, I got it's not full disclosure, everybody already knows this. I got my PhD in the effect that 3D printing has on community college students. Like, I'm a subject matter consumer, but I'd never heard of these things. So yes, something like this is very important, I think.
And then I think the long-term goal for that would be to get it in print, because I think that would be amazing. So if we could get it in print and it's sitting at the dentist office, and we bring more people into 3D printing and more people into design and bring people together, right, all over the world. But small steps first. I need people to help me write some articles so I can make the newsletter and give it to y'all.
Okay.
All right. Well, should we switch over to the slicing portion of the show?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and I think, Tessa, we should start with you because people are here to see you. And yeah, so you want me to add your screen?
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Like I said before the stream, I'm woefully underprepared, so I brought in a cat, and I thought I'd like to show you sort of how I painted him to look like a cartoon character, which is a really good thing. I need to add some filament options over here. All right.
Oh gosh.
So let's make him white. That'll help, right? All right. So we have the cat, And I've already decreased his size because he comes in quite large, so I put him at 50%. So if you're following along and you have the same model, just make him smaller because I don't know why I made him so big. I choose the paint bucket here and just the black color. And really, it's not that difficult. In this one, it's literally just artistically painting. So I sort of grab the pen size. I just use the circle tool or the sphere. Both of those work just fine. And literally just go around and find edges.
You feel like your sculpting techniques that you've been using with modeling kind of help with this?
I'm not sure.
You seem to have a pretty steady hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. The hand-eye coordination. I'm really doing it rough at the moment, though. Just saying. But yeah. So I think I just like put a couple of lines here just for fun, and yeah, so around here somewhere. You would take more time, okay? You take more time, not me. I'm just rushing through at the moment. And you can see it sort of coming together already, right? So the different angles we have, I might emphasize under his chin here. Well, a line, please. For some reason, it doesn't like my stylus, so I have to use the mouse sometimes.
I was going to ask which tool you're using.
Yeah. So I prefer to use the pen, but the bamboo slicer is a little bit finicky with it sometimes. So yeah, this is basically all I did. And what I love about this particular cat design, you know, I did model it after Simon's cat. I should probably have a smaller pen size. But you can see here now that I've seen several different designs of people who have made it look like their own cat. So you can see what's happening already, right? You can. It's just going to do that for you. We could go back into the paint. For the eye, actually, I might do the paint bucket. Let's see how we're going here. We could just. So with the paint bucket, you can select sort of what sort of tolerance it has on the edges, and just fill in a section. Just
I just recently, you know, I was doing the paint bucket a lot, and if things didn't work, I'm like, and I'd go and like do it in Blender or something like that. But yeah, I just found out that I can adjust those and
so if I have the smart angle up too high, it just turns the whole thing black. But I can decrease this and just get the right amount for under the eye here.
All right.
Perfectly get that in there. I could give him yellow eyes, right? Creepy.
Wow.
Yeah. So what else? What other tricks can I show you here? There's the by layer, which is I never got the hang of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I had a success with it on a coin. There's been sometimes trial and error with it.
Flat things, flat things that have a cropping.
Do a whole stripe.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's the height range.
Tessa, can you rotate that cat 45 degrees and then see if you can't make another line that's
you know what people have done?
No.
Okay.
Go back to prepare. Rotate it, then come and try to paint it. And
yeah.
Have you seen people do that to do crazy supports? They rotate it, do the supports. I think this used to be with Simplify 3D, and then they rotated it back.
Let's do that. All right, and then to the paint bucket, and yes.
Yes.
Oh, what a neat hack!
Very satisfying. Oh, yes.
Now we can have a tartan cat.
Yes. We can.
And then we This one back here. Back to the
Beautiful.
paint. Get that yellow going again. Here we go.
Yeah.
We got it. Tartan
Layers
cap.
over layers. Look at that.
That's fantastic. Look at that. We're learning on the fly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Try doing that by switching your filaments, huh?
Yeah.
That is great. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, patient Tessa of 2017 would pull it off.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would find a way.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I like
Yeah.
that one a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't seen too many people just draw onto their models like that, right? So I think that's something that could really show some creativity and personalize your own prints.
We do have the final one you did that wasn't the plaid, but I do have how that came out.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Uh-huh.
And so was it Andrew Sink who had pointed out that you took a 2D character, you made a 3D, and then you painted it to make it look 2D again.
That's right. Yeah. So, yep. 2D to 3D, 2D. Too many. Does that make it 4D or 5D? Maybe like.
That's a lot of D.
Yeah. It is.
And here's, I think your cat is jealous.
Yes, of course, always. So we've got here it is in real life.
Wow, that's substantial. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, I printed it big.
Yeah.
When I made the model, I thought, okay, yeah, I'll just make him 200 mil or whatever it was. Yeah. And I for some reason I forgot how big 200 mil was, right?
Oh yeah.
Only Americans are supposed to forget how big 200 millimeters is. Come on now.
Yeah, well, this
About
one,
7 inches.
yeah, this one so this one's like 6.5 inches. This one that I printed.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You know what? And also, what's interesting is that it seems like even though it's not a different color white, the eyes look like they're a different color from the cat, just because of the fact that they're outlined. You know.
Yeah, that's right. It tricks you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I had a guy who painted it. It was almost all black, and it had a little like white piece and a little bit of white on its paw. And then he put it in the cat basket with his cat, who looked exactly the same. And it was the best thing ever. I think it might actually be one of the. I don't think he put it on with the cat, but I'll have a look. I think he put it on a make on the thanks page. I'll bring it up now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
And then this one here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just thought that was so creative, and I want to see more people customize their prints using the multicolored function. Because why wouldn't you? Like, we make this design and we share it with you, and then if you can do something that makes it unique to you, and then show us again how much you're enjoying that as an artist, I love that. I love that so much. Right.
Oh.
And you're enjoying something I've created, and you've added a little bit of your touch to it. Yeah.
And now people, Tessa, I know everybody else knows this, but Tessa, where do we get your designs from?
Okay, yeah, you can get my designs from fangs.com/sparkyface5.
All right.
Or you could visit my website as well.
There you go.
Sparkyface5.com. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the world of Tess. Go visit, go explore, click all the things.
And you've got commission work, and you've got consultation work, and what kind of things do you do? What kind of things do you do on a consultative basis? Yeah.
I can help you work out some creative things for your project. We can talk through things like that. The possibilities, where the limitations of 3D printing are, if you might need to move to a different manufacturing sort of idea, or put you in contact with somebody who might help you with the design, because some things I'm good at and some things my friends are good at, you know. So
if it's cheese, it's definitely a Tessa project.
Yeah, if it's cheese, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're looking for the next space spanner design, I might have to put you in contact with somebody else.
Not quite. No. Like we talked about, you got your own style, so it seems like the kind of things that I would come to you looking for would be along the same kind of whimsical style that I would want to produce a one-off.
Absolutely.
From you.
I've also done work for people who create their own tabletop games, so creative miniatures and things like that. I can't show you yet, but soon, hopefully.
All right.
And I think Vicky mentioned before the Jessie puppy.
Oh my gosh! I just pulled it up over here.
Yeah. That's mine from a few years back.
That was an early commission, right?
That's Dave's actual dog. So, like, it's a really special all up. So there's two versions of that too. There's this one which he puts up because it's the easy to print. And there's another one with the tongue sticking out that has all the personality, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when the Jessie design came out, when they came out with that line of filament. That was 5 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
So, and even though Tessa has yet to come to an East Coast Rip Festival or a 3D Printopia, you're there. And when I walk by, like,
represent.
Yeah, you definitely are. You definitely are.
I think last year too, I had Randall. He commissioned me to do International Eggs of Mystery, and it was an egg with a face on it, and the body, like arms and legs, were posed in such a way to make you think of Austin Powers or Dr. Evil.
Oh,
and
wow!
It was Dr. Eggville, and I think it was Eggston Powers, right? And then the third one is just the egg, and it had an egg cup, and it was the International Egg of Mystery. And he had a table full of them, and he was giving them out over there. So that was really cool too.
Wow! Thank you for mentioning that. Those are the kind of things that I was trying to come to understand about your practice and how people could find you to use your services. Like, so even a caricature of like maybe like a toddler or something like that. Like if you wanted to do I'm gonna use the word cake topper for a kid's birthday, or even if you wanted to kind of make a mold for like to make chocolate candies. We just talked about the cocoa press, but you can also 3D print molds for candy. Absolutely.
And it's funny because you were asking me about the quacker being in resin earlier. I don't have the prototype here, but I made a whistle initially in resin.
Yeah.
But resin's not really safe to put in your mouth.
Thank you for reminding us that. Yes.
Yeah. So, but what I did was I 3D designed a mouthpiece, and I made that into a mold, and I used some food grade silicon to make the mouthpiece for that whistle. So molds are something that we can absolutely look at, custom molds in 3D printing for other purposes.
Wonderful.
And what's really cool about that particular project I like is because you can take it off, you can put it in the dishwasher or whatever, you can wash it, or you can just replace it completely. So it's one of those consumable parts. And you can Yes.
That would be hilarious.
We should definitely work on something towards that.
Oh my gosh.
I got a little caricature.
I would be official if I got something like that.
I got a caricature be done back at Shapeway. I got my start with using Shapeways, and their sandstone and their selective laser centering printers. So I did get a caricature of myself a long time ago with my little gray hair.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Well, it might be time to upgrade. We never know.
Yeah.
Might have to consider that one strongly, actually. Anyhow.
Well,
good.
As we wrap up this color discussion here, which I think this I think as this continues to go, there's going to be more episodes on this. I mean, it's just such a great technology. I do have two little teasers or food for thought for, just people know that they're out there. For people who do coloring in their modeling softwares, like I've done it in Blender before. There is a GitHub script that someone had come up with, and actually the whole giant conversation. Let me go ahead and pull this up here on. Oops, that's the wrong thing, but we're still related. This gentleman found a way to export. He would do the coloring in his modeling software, which in this case is Blender, which happens to be the software that I use. And so he did all his coloring there, and you can use texture maps and whatnot. And he exported it to an OBJ file, and he ran Python scripts, because that's one of the things that you can do in Blender, to move it over into the 3MF file that Bamboo Studio made. And I actually did a couple little prints with it. This is some houndstooth that I did, where I had an image map and I wrapped it around my cylinder. I ran his Python code. It worked great. And then, it's a very manual process where you have to unarchive the 3MF file, take out the model file, run the script, and put a new model file in, right?
Do you need UVs on the model?
You can do it with materials, or this would be a UV texture map, and then you can also just do it with plain materials. He has Blender has something called geometry nodes, where you are copying your color to the vertex that you're going to export in the VGA file. Okay, so that may sound intimidating. So here's there's a whole discussion. I haven't been able to absorb all of it. I just did.
Can you send me the link to this? Because I like to paint my stuff in ZBrush, but I would love to be able to use my texture map for the actual color mapping in the slicer. That would be amazing.
Right. And then it's just the whole thing. I did a cat years ago for my husband's birthday that went to Shapeways Full Color Sandstone, which was a Schrodinger's cat. And I'm like, really the whole thing, my whole game plan is to be able to print my Schrodinger's cat on the FFF.
I may or may not have considered putting a box around him in the files. And then you wouldn't know if it was a success or not until after you pull it off the build plate. So
And I feel like at some point we can try to do 3D printing gender reveals, like print a box around something. Well, anyways, back over here, I just want to highlight in this discussion, this is in GitHub where they're talking to Bamboo Studio as a feature request. And it sounds like they may be working on it to directly, if you have an OBJ file with color information, that you'll be able to directly pull that in.
It's interesting what you're saying about this, Vicky, because to me, it's almost like the legacy of the kind of the techie part of 3D printing. Because I'm sitting here thinking, why isn't it already there to begin with? Why can't you bring a colored file?
And I'm just geeking out that someone started doing it. I'm like, yes, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm looking at those nodes going, I get this. Yes. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me again.
Oh, we can kind of see you.
Yeah, I can see you geeking out for sure.
Okay. The other little thing, I won't demo this, but for those of us who are not good at painting, though apparently maybe I could do better with a stylus. The Prusa Slicer has this awesome import SVG feature. And so I continue to experiment in Prusa Slicer. If I put in an SVG, and this is a Benchy that we also used in the 3D Printopia logo, you can project it on your object, your STL, give it a depth of 0. And, so it's, not high at all. And if you save that, export that as an STL, then both Bamboo Studio and Prusa Slicer in the fill tool, they pick it up really easily. So that's another, if you have an existing design and you don't want to color it from scratch, that's a little hack that you can do.
I'll I'll definitely be following up with you about that, Vicky, for sure. That's something
Yeah.
I'm looking to use like tomorrow.
little hacky things.
Well, but like, you know, that is the kind of the legacy of what we do in 3D printing. It really is, you know, because you know, who hasn't improvised to try to keep their 3D printer going, running, you know, change something on something somewhere in order to get the results. So that is hacky is exactly the water we're swimming in.
It's funny what we call hacky these days.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
It's more and more refined every day. It's so much fun, right? This is where it's at, right on the edge.
Absolutely invigorating.
Yes.
I agree. Yes.
All right. Well, we've been at it again. It always goes fast, but we've been at it over an hour. And Tessa, you've been so generous with our time, especially after a very stressful day with no power.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we lost power. My husband was doing some work. He turned the power off. No problem. We turned the power on. Only half the things turned back on. It turned out one of our main lines, the breaker had failed. So it wasn't closing on one of the main lines. And when the technician came out from the power company, he said, this is a huge flash fire hazard. And, you know, if it blows up while you're next to the box, it's a big problem. And I'm going to take out all the fuses. So then our house had no power. And this was like, it started at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 7 o'clock before the guy came out. And it's like, oh, we got to find an electrician and pay after hours rates to try and get our power back on and hope they have parts. And it was a fun evening. Luckily, we know some people. So we had friends of friends come out who are electricians who can legally do the work. And they got it sorted for us before the end of the evening. So that, yeah, lucky.
Yeah, we're really glad that you were able to work that out. Thanks for going to such great lengths and then coming and joining our show. This is
I wouldn't miss it. I mean, I'd probably be on my phone at the neighbor's house plugged in because I had no battery left. You know, I'm here, guys.
Someone wanted to know how hot it got.
It was hot. We were melting. So once the air conditioner stops working, we closed up the house as best we could, trying to keep the cool in. But then it reaches a point where you're actually warmer inside, so we had to open the house up again. No, we survived. I'm not a puddle. Everything's okay. The laws changed, so we couldn't get the same main breaker put in as what we had already. So because the regs had changed, they had to put in one that was at a lower amperage. And then we weren't sure if what we are already running in the house would trip it or not, because we have some pretty heavy duty stuff here.
Right.
But so far so good. And the regs changed because the power company have not updated their infrastructure in decades, and they can't handle all the solar energy that's being fed back to them and people plugging their electric cars in, and they need to upgrade their facilities. But instead they're saying, hey, houses, we're going to limit what you can do.
Yes.
So yeah, sort of going backwards. But hopefully one day. Yeah.
Well, it'll come. It'll come. I mean, you know, they'll figure out a way to make money off of it, and it'll come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And should I do the little housekeeping?
Yes.
So, how would you slice that? We air live on Tuesdays that are Prime members, and this one we only have 2 weeks until the next one, and we have good. I got the date right, and on the next one. Oh, thank you, Tessa. The next one we're gonna have Karen Chow join us, and if you want to get a little taste of what's to come, you should check out Karen. She's doing we're in I think it's in the US. I don't know if you know about March Madness, Tessa, with the basketball. Okay.
I saw it on things recently.
So yeah, we have a March Madness with basketball, but Karen's doing a March Magnets where every day. This month she is designing a magnet, and I printed one of her magnets today. So
that's really cool.
She'll be joining us, and one of the things that she'll be talking about is doing a lot of parts, grouping parts by assembly. I think that's the way we go.
Just because you said basketball, I just quickly this is by Big Boom prints on things, and it just I mean they go everywhere, but it's so much fun. I just thought I'd point that out. This is the favorite of his that I like. It's just this little desktop game, and you got to be kind of gentle because the balls go everywhere. I don't know where that one went.
Well, at least it doesn't break in your hands. That's the biggest.
No,
thing.
yeah, it won't break. It's quite good. Like boing.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Oh, hey, Karen.
Yay, Karen. Hi, Karen.
Yes. And we do want to give Karen a very special shout out because when Tessa was having power issues, Karen was going to join us on short notice, and we really appreciate that.
Superstar.
Yeah,
Short
superstar.
notice is stressful.
Yeah, for sure. And as always, everybody in the chat watching and commenting, thank you so much. This is the reason we wanted to do it live, is the engagement and, to learn from each other. So thank you. And if you are interested in being a guest, let us know. We have a website, howwouldyousliceit.com, with a form you can fill in. Or if you just have a model that you would like us to talk about, you can submit that as well. I don't think I thanked the viewers enough, but it's all on. They can't see that I'm sincere because it's on you, but see, very sincere.
I'll be sincere for you
very much. It's hard to juggle the chat and this, and so personally, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Okay, shall we wrap it up?
Okie dokie.
I do have one question for you, Vicky. I hope it's not a rude one.
Yeah, what's up?
What does NLT?
Oh my gosh. It's a community member that's near and dear to me. That's never let the machines win. How do I do it? Never let the machines win. You may have noticed him in the chat of the first few episodes.
Is that Mike?
Yeah, it's Mike. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Wonderful.
Mike is good people.
Yes, he's fantastic. So I thought I would wear his shirt today.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Mike, for all your help and for the stylish contributions as well.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you in 2 weeks on March 19th.
Bye.